Human trafficking is certainly on the rise. South Africa, unfortunately, remains one of the world's top transit and destination countries. A report by the CIA has shown that government doesn't meet the standards for the elimination of trafficking, but is making significant strides in trying to do it. Durban is a major hotspot, of course, due to the harbour, and various organisations are highlighting trafficking with a peaceful march along the promenade. What's the hope to return our country back to a high standard? Reporter Lethiwe Mdluli is there joining us now. Lethiwe, morning to you. Let's take a look at what is happening on the ground this morning. You're along with the marchers. What are they telling you? What are they hoping for?
Well, good morning, Gareth. We are in Durban this morning where hundreds of marchers, or walkers rather, have joined in trying to highlight the scourge of human trafficking. And as you correctly stated, the numbers are increasing and people are basically living their lives in fear, especially in cases such as Durban. Because of the Durban harbour, they're seeing an increase in these numbers. But right now I'm joined by Bronwyn Turner, who's an activist and who's been highlighting the issue with human trafficking for years now. Bronwyn, thank you so much for joining us at eNCA. To take us through why you are an activist and why today you're walking, highlighting the increase in human trafficking.
So as a person myself that's experienced as a survivor, has experienced firsthand in terms of gender-based violence, a survivor of rape, I believe it's interlinked. Everything is interlinked in terms of gender-based violence, femicide and human trafficking. And today's event is to raise awareness and be proactive rather than reactive, bringing communities together, bringing corporates together so that people can rather be more proactive, more educated, that this is literally happening at your doorstep and next door to you, literally.
Yeah. Yes. We mentioned that the numbers are increasing. Can you take us through what you've been observing so far?
So, because we live in a port city, it's integral and key for people to understand that human trafficking, apart from the port city, we are second in the world, literally, in terms of human trafficking, but also that it is a trade that is now soon overtaking the drug trade. A person can be used repeatedly versus compared to buying a drug that you use once.
Yeah.
So this is what becomes the monetary value in a human being, as well as in terms of the reactive and seeing people, the years of trauma that person experiences, they generally sometimes never come out of it.
Yeah. So today with the walk, what are you hoping to achieve?
Today we are hoping to achieve more of a proactive rather than reactive. We are hoping to achieve synergy with companies, eThekwini, the Hilton, and Mzansi. They have all come together to have a voice to say that we stand together. We stand together in the fight of this, that our children are not for sale. Our women and men, even men, are trafficked as well. Trafficking is not just sex trafficking, it's organ trafficking. It's selling people to also stand on the corners to beg for money. So one would think, that's poverty-stricken, that child is just begging. That child could potentially be a trafficked child. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, there you have it, Gareth, from Bronwyn Turner, who's an activist, basically highlighting why they're walking today. She's also mentioned that they've seen that numbers are increasing of human trafficking, and they're basically trying to highlight the scourge and bring stakeholders to fight the scourge.
Let's talk about those stakeholders for a second. So the march on the go at the moment, who are these stakeholders that they're hoping to get the attention of? Is there a memorandum that wants to be handed over? Who are they hoping to hear from to try and get their voices heard?
Well, Gareth, there's a lot of organizations that have been invited to take part in this march as well. We know that eThekwini municipality is also forming part, the Department of Community Safety as well. We've seen a lot of organizations, independent organizations, also gathering. So they are trying to highlight these issues to the police, to government departments, and also independent stakeholders to come together, highlight it so that people are aware of what is currently happening. And as Bronwyn mentioned, because Durban, there's the Durban harbour, they are seeing that more people are being taken in this city, and some of them are being taken to overseas places, some of them are being brought into South Africa. So it's a huge issue, and they want the police to also get involved.
I was about to ask you about the police because there's a unique situation, isn't it? And your guest highlighting this, that Durban is a port city as well. Apart from the SAPS then, I suppose questions have to be asked of harbour authorities as well.
Of course, Gareth, and I guess Transnet will be the one to be able to answer to these questions in terms of security at the harbour. But unfortunately, we are seeing an increase in these numbers, meaning that the security at the harbour should be lacking. Because if there was enough security at the harbour, these numbers would not be increasing. So these are some of the issues that these organisations are trying to highlight and bring to the attention of the public so that numbers do decrease. Of course, the harbour will be working together with the SAPS. They also need to actually highlight some of the investigations and the crime that they are observing. With the statistics, we did see that crime is on the rise, but they did mention that they do investigate them. There are some of arrests that they've made so far. But I want to bring in Brownman as well. Brownman, are you working with the police in terms of trying to figure out if they're making arrests in these sorts of crimes?
Yes, so there is a KZN provincial task team where the heads of divisions, Asya Khan is the head of the KZN provincial task team, and members, many others, the Hawks and the rapid response team. So yes, definitely the eThekwini, the community, as well as provincial level are definitely key parts in that. Definitely.
Thank you so much. So there you have it, Gareth. They are working with some of police officials just to make sure that people are aware and the police also do investigate these kinds of criminal activities in the city.
All right, then we'll come back to you again a little bit later. Lethiwe Mdluli, as she continues with the march, fighting against the scourge that is human trafficking. It is incredibly worrying how bad the situation is down in Durban. Obviously, we're going to be following up with police. They say they are doing what they can with it, but you imagine there's a specialised unit that probably should be involved in this, and of course the issue around the harbour. What is the work to be done by the harbour and port authorities, especially down in Durban? We'll go back to Lethiwe again later in the day.